Welcome to Breathe, Move, Rest, a simple practice meant for daily consumption with wise application of what we know. That's a translation of the word tapas that we hear from Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. The niyama, there's 5 yamas and 5 niyamas, create that ethical foundation. And tapas, often interpreted as discipline, and even exaggerated to mean something closer to no pain, no gain. That is not what tapas is about. Tapas is about showing up wisely, accommodating and adapting based on what you know is true and real. Now, notice the difference here, because sometimes it's our emotions, sometimes it's our fears that keep us from showing up or give us permission to not show up or to even try. So, wise application, a tapas for our daily practice, is about meeting ourselves with both compassion and truth. The first 2 yamas of Patanjali Sutras. So let's begin with a standing Tadasana or a seated in a chair, something so that the body is stacked, heart is open, and welcome the breath. And take a first few rounds of this breath in the nose and out the mouth, adding some sighing exhales if that feels good. In and out through the nose when you're ready. All right, ujjayi, or closing of the throat on the exhale. But I want to add a little variation here for the lower bandha, a locking in, a lifting up of the pelvic floor. And one way to help cultivate the proprioception, the body-mind connection, is to hug a block or a pillow between the thighs. So that as you exhale, give a little inward squeeze as you then redirect and lift that energy up. So you can have the closing of the throat or not, as long as you soften both ends on the inhale. So about 10 rounds. When you finish that 10th round or the next one, if you've lost count, no big deal, no worries. Set the block aside. Come back to Tadasana, an easy breath in and out. Good. Inhale, the arms are going to go forward just to shoulder height. Exhale, swivel the palms and press them behind you as far as they'll go. Inhale, thumbs lead forward. Exhale, palms press back. Your balance is unsteady today, then hold onto the wall or a chair and move one arm at a time. Accommodate what is real and true with compassion. Nothing that we are going to do in breathe, move, rest practice is hard or fast or limited in its sense that do this or don't do anything. No, that's not what this practice is about. Okay, if your blood pressure feels fine, we're going to take this forward. Now we're going to take the arm up. So inhale, thumb leads. Exhale, palm comes back to horizontal. Inhale and exhale. This should be a little harder. Hug the arm bone into the shoulder socket as opposed to concaving or rounding and collapsing. Hug those shoulder blades in, thumbs lead up, palms press down. Doesn't matter how high, how vertical your hands go. You got this little bone protrusion called the acromion process. That's going to restrict you at some point. Work within your limits, right? The way around that acromion process is literally to go a little wider, which we'll come to in a minute. We're not quite there yet, right? Two more. Inhale and exhale. Take the arms out and press. Exhale. Thumb leads. Inhale. Palms press. Exhale. Good. Take them all the way up. Thumb leads as high as you can. And then swivel, press back to horizontal. Good. Inhale up. Exhale, horizontal. Palms press. Palms lift. Palms press. Good. Last one. The hands come down. Take them all the way down, around. And maybe you bind forearms. Maybe you rest the hands. Maybe they lower down. And then circle the nose. Well done. Pause the head and reverse. Well done. Pause the head. Sun breath all the way up. Take it wide. Swivel the thumbs. Bring the palms together. Good. Bring it right back down. Swivel and down. This time thumbs come forward. Inhale forward. Take it all the way up. Palms pivot and come on down. Thumbs open. Take it up. Swivel, press, and forward. Good. This time, we're going to add a little bend. So inhale up and open. Exhale down. Bend the knees, thumbs reach forward. A little bit of a chair. You're already in a chair, no big deal. Keep the head above the heart here, right? Option on this next round, I'm going to show you a little toe lift, right? So we're bending, arms lift as high as you like, and then lifting, heels lift. Good, sink and lift the arms, lift the feet, lift the arms. Good, if this doesn't work for you, imagine it, use your visualization skills. 2 more here. This is finishing the first. And then the second arm. Good. All right, shoulders up, back, and down. Now let's move into the elbow circling, alternating. One side and then the other. The feet can widen and maybe even offer a little bit more backup dancer kind of feel, right? A little bit of a twist, a circle, scroll. Use your drishti, use your focal point of your eyes to help keep you engaged, body and mind. Your feet are wide, your feet are narrow. Notice the movement from toe to heel, from big toe to little toe. Now we're going to move into our empty coat sleeves. Right? So again, the back foot is going to roll. Arms are going to sway to a tap. Right, all right, back to a center. Feet can stay wide, hands on the hips, a little side bend. Keep the soft bend in the knees, lean towards one side. So this hand is helping to hold the weight. Rise and bend, and rise and bend. Now, depending on which of these 2 shapes, the upright lifting or the side bending is more challenging, that's where you can add the work of the breath. Right? So exhale to rise, inhale to bow, or reverse it. Exhaling up helps really activate those adductor muscles of the inner thighs, the abdominal core muscles of the transverse abdominis and the obliques. Good, if you want a little more, add that top arm to reach up and over. We got about 3 or 4 more rounds here. Notice that my hips are staying level, right? They're not tilting out to the side. That's a different stretch. We're working into the core, not the hips just yet. All right, one more round here. And then the forearms and the wrists. So go ahead and bring the elbows and forearms together and give a swivel. Or if they don't reach, you can rest the elbows by your side. That's going to take up some of the weight of the arms so that the shoulders don't have to work so hard. Circle, swivel, roll. Just lubricate and warm up those wrists. Good. All right, one hand above the other. Turn the thumbs down and interlace the fingers. Draw the fingers through and under. Maybe they reach over and out. And back. Really bringing some traction into that spiraling of the forearm. The radius and the ulna. Well done. Last one here. Hold it for a breath or so. Good. Are your feet still wide? If so, give this a go. Unwind. Notice which arm is on top. Sun breath up, lifting to your tippy toes. Yep. And bring it down. Sink into a bit of a squat. Arms come forward. Good. Opposite arm on top. Swivel the hands down and roll it in and out. Good, last one. Hold it there for a breath or so. We're gonna do that sun, breath, chair, short sequence one more time before we bring ourselves down to table. Good, unwind. Sun, breath up, adding a little bend as I lift in the heels. Lowering, adding a deeper bend as I extend to the arms. Good, and rise. Bringing those feet together, a little back bend, hands on the hips, hands hold the backside, or extend it. But if you extend, really lift that pubic bone up towards the navel to lock in your strength in your core. Take it into a little bit of a back bend. Good, and then bending the knees as you need, lift up, bow forward. Coming right down, take your time. When you land, we're going to move right into our cat and cows. Good, 2 more here. And back to neutral to sway your hips from side to side. So now we're starting to open up that gluteus, the maximus and the medius. The medius is what lifts the hip and holds you upright, lifts the thigh bone into the hip. And the maximus is what helps push you, propel you forward when you walk or run or skip or dance. All right, from the side to side, stay here as long as you need. And then as the body is ready, see if you can sink the feet into that kind of half circle. So the hips reaching back and around towards the feet and over. Now we're getting a lubrication of the wrists and the shoulders as well. So widen or adjust, even coming down to forearms if the wrists are fatigued. All right, we got one more application here to lubricate the hips, and that's a rocking child's pose. So toes together, widen the knees. Set it back to child's pose, and then up and over, coming into a variation of this up dog. So notice the knees are wide. That's going to compress or close the SI joint, open the inner thigh. Exhale and press back. Not a big stretch on either side just yet. Take your time. Stack shoulders over elbows over wrists. Let the feet slide if they need to. Good. 2 more in this orientation of the lower body. Good. As you come back, go ahead and settle all the way into child's pose. Lengthen the arms. See if you can spider up those fingers and open up the underside of the armpit just another bit. Bringing the knees underneath you and rising back up to a squared or a neutral table. Extend one leg and roll over and around the ankle and the foot. Other way if you haven't. Good. Pause for a stretch. Toe tuck under, press to the heel, stretching in the calf. Knee can be gently bent. Visualize what the body is not able to fully experience anatomically. That's okay too. And after a pause in the stretch, come back to a few visits to circle and roll. Good. All right, release. Pitter-patter out the tops of the feet. We'll go to the second side. So roll it. Reverse it. Maybe you're going back and forth. There's no wrong way. We're just lubricating the joints, moving without being weight bearing, or at least not much weight bearing, the bones and the muscles. That's how you lubricate, right? Good. Pause for a stretch. And then come back into the roll. All right, now that our knees are parallel, shins parallel, and ankles equal distance as the hips, we're gonna come back to that rocking forward and back. So table pose, walk the hands maybe another 8 inches in front, and then shift the hips. Now, this one, we're gonna have some more compression in the low back because the hips and the thighs are sharing space. And then rock it back. But this is gonna give us that space, that shift to help open the hip flexors and to restore, reset the lumbar spine. That's the waistband down to the bony protrusion that we call that sacrum, where the pelvis doesn't join, doesn't connect, but it's connected through soft tissue, right? That SI, sacroiliac joint. Okay, one more variation here. This time as we come back to our child's pose, we're going to bring the knees as narrow as our body will allow. That might mean the ankles can even go wide. It's going to get a little bit more of that outer thigh stretch. Take it slow. A pillow under the thighs is welcome here. You will not drop the hips as far in either direction because that internally rotated femur bone is going to reach its limit sooner, meaning it's going to find the extension of its rotation. The hip bone is going to stop it from going any farther. Good. 2 more. Nicely done. All right, we're going to come out onto our bellies. So reorient the knees as you need to. This is a great place to have a bolster if you have one handy. You can increase the ease of the back bend by supporting your elbows on a bolster. Then I'm going to walk the elbows maybe a little bit in front of my shoulders so that my chin is higher than my jawbone, or at least even. And take my time to relax the whole back body. Now, if you want, you could even fold the feet up. That will bring us a bigger stretch in the front body, or even rest the legs on a second bolster behind you. Come back to that exhale through the mouth. The shoulders kind of creep up towards the ears, not with effort, but with the absence of effort. Well done. All right, to come out of this, lower yourself by your forearms. I'm leaning to one side to get weight off of my arm. Using the forearms to press down, lifting from the belly to fold back. Now I'm just gonna take my time as I flip over onto my back. The bolster, if it's handy, might be nice underneath the thighs as we get to Savasana. But before we get there, we're just going to rock the knees one more time. I've got my feet on my bolster, just adding a little more leverage, not necessary, but a nice adaptation. Again, as the knees rock, you could also sway the elbows in the opposite direction. Nice. All right, let's release that rocking, extend the body long. As if you were up on your tippy toes, press your feet. Notice my buttocks is lifted because I've got that bolster underneath my thighs through my fingers. And then let the elbows slide down into more of a goddess shape, perhaps. Let the knees soften with your bolster, perhaps. What is it that you can offer yourself with compassion? Again, our wise application of what we know. The tapas applies to the work as much as it applies to the rest. Breathe, move, rest. That breathe step is critical for the integration, the connection of body and mind, so that we can call upon the wisdom of the witness, the wisdom of our own stories. Move in kindly through Dashasana and joint lubrication, stretching muscles that have been stuck, shortened, or pulled. And then eventually releasing all effort, knowing that we have practiced compassion within the realm of what is true and real, with an intention of improving the conditions of our living so that we can show up authentically, vibrantly, compassionately for ourselves and for each other. Your schedule allows, you can linger here and rest for a few more minutes. Otherwise, begin to reanimate the body with the gentlest of movements, deepening the breath with attention, and making your way back upright to seal our practice and begin again this day. Notice how you feel and give yourself the appreciation, the affirmation for showing up. Whether you visualize the entire practice or you exemplify the anatomical expression, you showed up, and that's enough to breathe, to move, and to rest with tapas, with wise application of what we know. Your hands come to rest together. May you breathe deeply and move freely. Labor lovingly and live vibrantly. May you be well. Namaste.